Is Holocaust education a DEI program?
No.
Is African American Studies a DEI program?
I think I answered that with one.
I'm asking it again.
Listen, we should
just yes or no.
We should be able to teach courses.
My point is they are DEI programs, both of them, because students need diversity, equity, and inclusion to understand their environments. So both.
One of the most disheartening things that you have to accept about U.S. politics is the role that money plays in it. And I guess this question of the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon here, it kind of tells a story in two parts, right? Follow me. So first and foremost, the first one is that Linda McMahon, who kind of sort of doesn't answer all questions in the best of light and needs cars and things like that, and no cars to kind of keep track of what she's supposed to be saying or not saying, is only in this role because she donated $10 million to the Trump campaign in 2024, right? You can sort of compare that as well with someone like Elon Musk, who now, I guess, they're going through their divorce, him and the MAGA movement or the Trump administration, donated, I believe, up to north of $75 million to the campaign. Okay, so there's that. Right? We could really solve a lot of our problems if we really just started working on money in U.S. politics. Next part, though, I find interesting. Now, we're talking Representative Hayes here, I guess kind of corners Lynn McMahon, and wants to talk about two groups' history, all right? And then we're supposed to call them minority groups. I'm well aware that Jewish groups can assimilate to whiteness in America. Like, I totally understand that concept, but it's kind of wishy-washy, right? It's still technically a minority group. So just work with me here. Now, because they demonized DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And in any case, the way they can sell it to Americans, it's a new code word for the N-word. I've already told you guys that. But in places like, college admission, job placement, they, scream merit, 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 and try to basically apply it in a way that makes you believe, like, hey, you're not getting what you deserve because these colored folks, right, and this DEI thing is the big bad boogeyman. Well, I tell you guys all the time, just say it out loud. It's DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. So in our education system, this is a good question that Representative Hayes poses, right? Which is, hey, dog, our two minority groups talk about their history. It's part of history, right? Is this DEI? Is that diversity, equity, inclusion? But because of the role money plays in politics, she knows good and well, as she reads those cards, what she doesn't want to say about a certain group. And that's quite frankly, right? Like she knows that if she's, and you can ask, and I mean this in good faith. Like, I'm not trying to say this to be anti-Semitic or anything like that. I think if you ask the minority group that she's representing, the Jewish people as well, they would say the education about the Holocaust is important. It's part of history, it's part of World War II, etc. Right? And I think they would answer pretty fairly, and most sane ones were like the education of, let's say, maybe the civil rights era and how it affected African American people in the United States. It's also part of history. It's a story that should be told. Right? Please fit in. But because they've demonized that, right? They know that they can't now attach, you understand what I'm saying, to DEI. They've demonized DEI, so they can't attach something that belongs to that ethnic group to DEI. And what's kind of bugging my mind, though, it's kind of weird, is that when we start talking about votes and things like that and what's important, I would think most people wouldn't want to offend any group. Right, because you want as many votes as possible. You want to be as popular with every group as possible. But it just reinforces the idea that when you start looking at like super PACs and PACs and things like that, and people that I guess mobilize really well with their money and their funds in campaign donations, you start seeing where our politicians, people in administrations, what they decide to prioritize. And I guess it's been leading to my next thing. I'm like, you know what? It's either we gonna, one, change how money works in U.S. politics, and or two, if you want change, just start starting your own PAC, right?